Hey guys, and welcome to Section 3, Chapter 3 of the Pre-Algebra program entitled Solving Equations by Addition or Subtraction. And in this section, we're going to solve equations, of course, by either addition or subtraction. We're going to learn how to check our solutions, and we're going to review graphing numbers on a number line and writing expressions, or in this case, equations, from words. Now, those two words themselves, expressions and equations, oftentimes get used interchangeably, but for mathematicians, they mean two different things. And we haven't really identified that difference between these two words, and so I want to do that here. So up until this point, we have been simplifying expressions. And expressions are a series of terms that need to be simplified or combined, but cannot be solved. Meaning you don't simplify an expression and get the answer of like 7. Okay, that doesn't work. An equation, on the other hand, is a series of terms that include an equal sign that must be simplified and solved. So I'm just going to give you a quick example of each. So remember, we were learning how to combine like terms. And this is an example of an expression. Notice I have several terms here, but there's no equal sign. And so I simply combined my like terms, and this is the simplified form of the expression. As opposed to an equation, like we're going to deal with in this section. So if I have something like x plus 4 equals 12, now I have several terms, but look at this. Now I have an equal sign, and an equal sign means I'm going to get a number for an answer. I'm going to solve for this variable, and I'm going to know what's going to make the equation true. So using this example, x plus 4 minus 12, this leads us right into what we're learning this section. So this section, we're learning how to add or subtract away by addition or subtraction. The idea when solving the equations is that we're trying to isolate our variable x. Oops, sorry. He's the enemy, and we want him by himself. So in order to do that, we've got to maneuver terms away from him. And there's certain rules we have to follow in order to be able to do that. So in our case, we have x plus 4 equals 12. And I want to get x by himself. And right now he's being attached to the plus 4. So I can undo this plus 4 by doing the opposite operation. The opposite of addition is subtraction. So I can undo the plus 4 to that x by subtracting 4 from both sides of the equation. I'm going to move up here a bit. Okay, I'm drawing this line down where the equal sign is because sometimes it's a little bit easier to see that what we do to one side of the equal sign, we have got to do to the other. So I can't just subtract 4 here and just leave it at that. That breaks all of our rules of algebra. But I can subtract 4 as long as I do it to both sides of the equal sign. And of course, the idea here is that these 4's then go away. If I add 4 and then subtract it, then I get left with 0. And now here on the right side of the equation, I'm going to actually just perform this operation, 12 minus 4, which is 8. So I get x equals 8. And that is the solution to this equation. Now, we're going to check this answer to make sure that we have done all of our work correctly. This is one of the great things about math. So very often we can check our work to make sure that our answers make sense. And I'm going to do that by plugging 8 back into the original equation for x. Remember, when I make any kind of substitution, I'm going to put the substitution in parentheses. So our original equation, I'll just write it right above here so you can see that a little better. So instead of writing x, now I'm going to write 8, and I'm going to add 4, and I'm going to hope that together that equals 12. Well, then I'm going to go ahead and add these together, and I get 12 equals 12. And when I get that one side is equal to the other, then I know I have arrived at the correct solution. Okay, I know that was a lot. We're going to do lots more examples here. Let's do another one. What if I had m plus 7 equals 14? Again, I'm going to add or subtract away to solve this equation. It's an equation because I recognize I have an equal sign here. So I want to get a number for my solution. And so the first thing I want to do is identify where the variable is. He's right here. And that's the guy I want to get all by himself. And right now, he's not by himself. He's stuck to the plus 7. So we think, okay, what's the opposite of adding 7? The opposite of adding 7 is subtracting 7. And I have to do it to both sides of the equal sign. So when I subtract 7 from both sides, then I bring my m down, and I get just 0 here when I add down. And then I'm going to go ahead and add these together. 14 plus a negative 7 is 7. And so m equals 7. This is my solution to the equation. But we need to check it. It's a good practice to get into checking our work. So over here on the side, instead of writing m, I'm going to substitute the m with 7. And I'm going to see if both sides of this equation equal each other. Then 7 plus 7 is 14. And of course, 14 equals 14. So I know that I've gotten the right answer. All right, let's do another one. I feel like I'm moving fast on this video today. Hopefully you guys don't think I'm going too fast. If I am, then you just need to pause the video and catch up on your notes. Maybe go back through and listen again to the first example or the second one if you feel like I'm moving a little bit fast. Okay, so the first thing that we want to do to solve this equation is identify where our variable is. And our variable is right here. And right now it's being stuck together by plus 13. So in order to undo the positive 13, I do the opposite. The opposite of plus 13 is a minus 13. And so I'm going to subtract 13 from both sides. And when I do this, I just bring down my b here. 13 minus 13 is going to give me 0. And then guess what, guys? We're using our adding and subtracting of integers again. This is something we're going to see throughout the rest of the course. So you're just going to get lots and lots of practice. Hopefully it's starting to become a little bit more familiar to you. But remember, if we start at 11 on the number line, over here, right on there, and I'm subtracting 13, I'm moving to the left 13, which means it's going to take me 11 to get to 0, and then 2 more to get to 13. So 11 take away 13 is negative 2, and now I have negative 2 equals b. Now let's check. See if we've done our work correctly. 11 equals 13 plus -2. 13 plus a -2. Here again, remember when we have a positive and a negative, it goes negative, and 11 equals 11. So I know that we're good to go. Okay, we've been subtracting all of these away, so let's do an addition problem here. What if I had y minus 6 equals 18? Well, the same thing is going to be true here as before. We identify our variable, which is y, and then I see what's being attached to the variable that I need to undo. And in this case, we're subtracting 6. The opposite of subtraction is addition. So to undo the 6 so that the y can hang out by himself, I need to add 6 to both sides. Now I'm going to bring down my y. -6 plus 6 is 0. And then I'm simply going to add 18 plus 6, which is 24. So y equals, oh, I'm sorry, that just undid that. Y equals 24. Now let's check this. Now I have 24. 24 minus 6 is, of course, 18. So we're good to go there. Okay, I'm going to do one more subtraction problem for you, and then I'm going to do a word problem. What if I have -9 equals x minus 3? First thing I want to do is identify the variable. And then notice -3 is being attached. So I undo -3 or subtracting 3 by adding 3 to both sides. Then I bring down my x and I perform this operation. -9 on the number line, and if I add 3, I'm going right. 1, 2, 3. So I get -9 plus 3 is -6. And so x equals -6. Now we're going to check. -9 equals -6 minus 3. This is so good for your integer review. So now we start at -6. And when I subtract 3, I'm going to move to the left. 1, 2, 3, which means I arrive at -9. And so it works. This is utilizing, again, another skill that we've already learned. So it's great review. Let's do one final example here. So remember in the past we had worked on writing expressions using words. We are going to do that again here. And if you can't remember what some of the terminology means, go ahead and look back at your notes to refresh that. But for this example, remember sum means addition. A number is going to be some sort of variable. You can call it anything you want. I'll call mine x. And is means equal to. So we can write the sum of a number. So we would have x plus -8 is -21. Okay, now, just before we solve this, look at these two signs together. A positive and a negative together could be rewritten as a negative. And now we see our variable here, and we're subtracting -8, so we're going to add 8 to both sides and get x plus 0. And then remember, we're at -21 on the number line. And we got to add 8, which is going to take us to the right. So 6 is going to take us to negative 15, and 2 more will take us to negative 13. So x equals negative 13. Okay, I know that was a lot. I apologize. There was a lot of content in this section. So take a minute, finish up your notes, then go through, read this section, and begin your assignment.